Well, now joining us to discuss the latest developments in these hostage negotiations and, of course, the ongoing hostage for ceasefire deal is Yoni Ben Menachem of the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs. Yoni, thank you for joining us. To start, what can we make of the latest hostage deal addendum securing the release of 3 hostages a little bit ahead of schedule in the case of Agam and the 3rd hostage? What do we know so far?
We know that this is a compromise that was achieved by the mediators, by the Egyptians, the Americans, and the Qataris. And this is to overcome the obstacle that the Islamic Jihad tried to, and Hamas also, they tried to delay the release of the Israeli hostage Yahud, and this is something that Israel could not accept, and the Prime Minister Netanyahu insisted on releasing this hostage, and finally we got the result, and she will be released on Thursday.
Now, when it comes to Hamas's violations of the ceasefire, the prior refusal to submit the list of the status of hostages, the delay of the return of Arbel Yehud, as you mentioned, are we looking at psychological warfare, intentionally withholding information, or is this really more about the incompetence or inability of Hamas, or could it be both?
It's both, and it's also some kind of extortion. They're trying to blackmail Israel. And, you know, when you make a deal with a terror organization such as Hamas or Hezbollah, you know what to expect. This was expected by the Israelis, and there were different scenarios prepared by the political and security echelon to face this challenge of the blackmail by Hamas. And Israel stopped the movement of the Gazans from south of Gaza to the north of Gaza until this issue was solved. But this is something that we have to learn. We have to learn to negotiate with this cruel enemy, terror organization named Hamas, and they only understand one language, which is the language of force. Any attempt to come to terms with them, to negotiate with them, they will always try to cheat and manipulate Israel and blackmail Israel. So we have to be very, very strong and put a lot of pressure on them.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the significance strategically of the Netzarim corridor? Why is the IDF withdrawal important, and how much of a security risk does it pose to us upon the withdrawal?
This is a huge security risk because this was a buffer zone that was dividing the Gaza Strip into half and preventing more than 1 million Palestinians from returning from the south of Gaza, the humanitarian area, to the north of Gaza. And now they are very close to the Israeli border, and they pose a security risk to the people living in the Jewish communities near Gaza, those who were slaughtered by Hamas on the October 7th. And also this will prevent in the future, it might cause a lot of problems if the IDF will have to go back into Gaza to fight Hamas. And this will be a humanitarian human shield for Hamas, and Israel will have to sacrifice more sacrifices to reoccupy this area of the north of Gaza.
All right, well, we are unfortunately out of time, but I want to thank you, Yoni Ben Menachem from the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you.